Welcome to Rocket Science 102, where we'll simulate the flight of John Glenn, the first American to orbit the Earth. This project requires Spaceflight Simulator, a free download from the App Store. The space race so far. The Soviet Union had just launched Gurman Titov to orbit the Earth 17 times. John Glenn would fly atop a Mercury Atlas rocket to orbit the Earth just 3 times. To start construction, place a Hawk engine at the bottom of the rocket editor space, as this rocket will be tall. Locate the 20-ton fuel tank and place 5 of them, one on top of another, on top of the Hawk engine. Scroll the rocket editor space down to make room, locate the stage separator, and place it on top of the fuel tanks. Scroll the parts column up to find the Colibri engine below the Hawk engine and place it above the stage separator. Click and drag a 5-ton fuel tank above the Colibri engine. Put another stage separator on top of the 5-ton fuel tank. Slide the heat shield elevated above the stage separator. Click and drag the capsule on top of the heat shield and top the rocket off with a parachute. This completes our rocket simulator. Touch the launch button. Touch the engine, swipe the throttle up to 100%, turn the throttle on, and we have liftoff. Use the steering arrows to match the rocket's angle with the recommended ascent angle as the rocket climbs. First 5 degrees, then 10, 20, 30, 45, 60, and 75 degrees. When the ascent angle display disappears, angle the rocket horizontal. When the booster runs out of fuel, tap on the lower stage separator between the booster and the upper stage to eject the booster. Since the following maneuvers are complex, we can return to this state by creating a quick save. Name the quick save. Click the Save button. Turn off the throttle and click on the engine to turn it on. Tap the Map button to see your relationship relative to the Earth. Zoom out to see the maximum height relative to the Earth. Turn on the throttle to increase the maximum height. As we approach 150 kilometers, swipe the throttle down to a couple of percent and stop at 150 kilometers. We can use the time acceleration arrows to coast up to, but not beyond, 150 kilometers. Use the steering arrows to point the spacecraft in the direction of travel. Turn on the throttle to increase the maximum height to 250 kilometers. We have now reached the orbit that John Glenn took. Use the time acceleration to go 3 times around the world. Stop the time acceleration at the minimum height. Use the steering arrows to turn the spacecraft away from the direction of motion. Turn on the throttle to change the trajectory to go back into the Earth's atmosphere. Tap the stage separator to eject the retrorocket. When the capsule enters the atmosphere, use the steering arrows to position the heat shield perpendicular to the direction of travel, so the shield takes the heat. When the height reaches 2,400 meters, tap the parachute. The capsule successfully returns to Earth. Congratulations on completing a successful orbital spaceflight. What would you like to do in Rocket Science 103? Comment and subscribe.